Well, I've done a few wet races in my time, but never anything quite as bad as this one. The rain is pouring down at Zolder today for this Go Setups GT3 Sprint on Low Fuel Motorsport. Now, usually I try and stay well clear of wet races in Assetto Corsa Competizione. However, I'm going for this one today, and qualifying went well. My time of 1:38.4 is good enough for P10 on a stacked grid of 29. I'm not setting any targets for this one though. Just getting to the finish line will be a miracle in itself. Well, we've not even got underway yet, and already I am struggling to see what's in front of me. It is only going to get worse when the lights go green, because there will be a cloud of spray. There's 29 cars hurtle towards turn 1 here at Zolder in the most awful conditions. I cannot see anything in this first corner. I can't see the cars in front of me. I can't see the curbs to the inside or the outside. I can't even see the track. This is treacherous. I've got Alfonso Marotta alongside me in the Ferrari. However, I'm really struggling to find my bearings here, so I may just have to let Marotta go. That'll probably cost me another position as well, because there's a BMW behind, Nico Kolesnikov, who is also going to capitalise on my lack of pace and lack of confidence on this opening lap here at a rain-sodden Zolder. So I've got Kolesnikov on my inside now, with visibility so low. Going too wide into this chicane is not something I'm looking forward to. I can't see the BMW, I can't see where I need to turn in, and as a result I run in way too deep. That has given Kolesnikov the position, and I am struggling big time in these monsoon conditions. I've dropped 3 places from where I started, P10 down to P13. But the most important thing is that I'm still on track with no damage. I'm actually amazed that we've not lost any drivers here so far. So we've got to give a lot of credit to everybody on this grid, driving sensibly and cautiously on this opening lap. And if I'm not careful, I'm going to slip even further back, because I've got Thiago Neves breathing down my neck now. Neves started P12 on the grid. His lap time was about half a second slower than mine, but that counts for nothing in these conditions with such low visibility. And I'm closer to Kolesnikov now, which means more spray, and just as I say that, I see a red Ferrari dive up the inside. Neves going for it there. It spooked me completely. I'm out onto the gravel. I've lost one position, maybe more. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack from this opening lap at Zolder, but let's check out a replay as the lights go green and you can see the unbelievable spray cloud that envelops this start-finish straight at Zolder. You literally cannot see a thing, which makes it even more incredible that we only lost one driver at T1, and we lost him through a mistake of his own doing. Fabrice Baltersberger, just a little bit too greedy on the gas, loses grip in a puddle of water and slides out into the barrier. However, it soon got a little rougher. Right behind me coming into this first chicane, we lost a couple more drivers. Watch Dean Cooper in the number 16 Ferrari. He's just going to get tagged by the number 8 BMW of Nick Muth. Now we're riding on board with Muth, and it's the same old story. No visibility. Muth brakes a bit too late. He has to avoid the car in front, and that sends him straight into Cooper. Now, for the entirety of this first lap, I have been nothing short of terrified, and I was rattled once again at the very last chicane. There's a red Ferrari incoming. That is Neves. Now, I'm not sure if he intended that move or whether he just got caught out on the brakes. Either way, it sent me into a blind panic. I went out onto the gravel, and I've lost not 1 but 2 positions. Muth is the next driver who's going to pass me on the straight, taking advantage of that extra momentum, and the visibility is so bad, I decide to let him have it. I couldn't tell where he was on my inside. I could tell though that there was a car in the gravel there to the right, and there could also have been some contact between Muth and Alfonso Marotta, because Marotta has crashed out. And we've already seen Muth spin one driver around on the opening lap. I think he might have just claimed a second victim there. We'll go back and check out a replay shortly, but for now I can put him under a bit of pressure here. I'm up into P14 now. Can I get that P13 back? Am I close enough to Muth? Yellow flags are out again. There's an incident in the chicane. It's so difficult to see what. Oh my word, what on earth happened there? Well, I've not just been taken out, I have been absolutely destroyed by Chap Mongol Theta in the Ferrari. Well, I'm actually amazed that my car is still drivable, but I find myself down in P20. Let's take another look at this. Now, I'm as close as I possibly can be to the BMW. Yellow flags are waving, but watch that Ferrari behind. Oh, he came in way too fast and has wiped me out there. Now, I can't be too critical of mistakes being made in these conditions because visibility is so very poor. But as we ride on board with Peter, we can see just how wrong he gets it here. And while I'm not going to criticise mistakes made in these conditions, I will criticise his decision not to wait. Now, the only reason Peter was behind me was because it was him who was in the gravel at turn 1 at the start of this lap. He's trying to push up the inside of Lee Hutchie in the 21 McLaren, but he gets squeezed onto the curb and loses it. He's joined in the dirt by Alfonso Marotta. Now, we passed Marotta at the very next corner, so let's stick with this replay as we see another car losing it in the background, but we're watching Marotta, and yes, he does get a nudge from the number 8 BMW of Nick Muth. So can I salvage anything from P20? Well, there's still more than 20 minutes of the race to go, and in these conditions, anything can happen. And it's almost impossible to see what's going on right in front of me, but it looks like Adrian Holland is having a look up the inside of Andy Bear into the final chicane. He's got the pass done, so Holland up into P18, Bear down to P19, and there may be an opportunity for me as well. I had a much better drive out of the final turn. I pull alongside Bear, and now I just need to hold my nerve on this inside line. In fact, Bear backs out of it, so I've gained 1 position. I'm up into P19, and I'm right on the tail of Adrian Holland. Fast forward to later in the lap, Holland has managed to pull away from me a little bit and close in on the BMW in front of him. Adam Cekaj is going to be put under real pressure into the second chicane, and he's forced into a mistake. That BMW out into the gravel. So Holland picks up another position. However, I'm not quite close enough to do the same, but I do now find myself tucked right in behind that big BMW. That, of course, brings its own challenges, though. More spray and less visibility. At least with a bit of a gap to the cars in front, I had a clearer view of the track. As soon as I get close to any of these cars, my visibility all but disappears. Cekaj was a bit deep into the hairpin there. He missed the apex, so that will cost him a couple of tenths. Can I get close enough to make a repeat move out of the final turn? If I can get the drive and stick it up the inside of the BMW, there may be another position up for grabs. However, I don't think I'm close enough. I have got a better run out of the final corner though, and I will close in on that BMW, but I think I'm just going to run out of straight. I'll move to the inside just to see if I can spook Cekaj. But no, he's not going to fall for that old trick. He holds his nerve through T1 and holds on to that P19. For now, I am getting closer, and I do feel like I've got the pace to challenge here as we start lap 4. And it looks like Holland might have lost it through the haze and the spray. I saw that red Ferrari lose control. He comes back onto the track, and I have to take avoiding action. Very nearly collected there. And yeah, luckily I had quick reactions. In these conditions, you get even less notice when you've got to suddenly avoid a crash in front. And Holland just rides over the curb, gets his rear left tyre onto that green stuff, and that sends him into a spin. Look how close he came to taking me with him there. Right, back to the live action at the end of lap 4. That evasive action cost me a bit of time, but it didn't take me long to close back in on Cekaj in the BMW. And just as I tried to get even closer down the start-finish straight, Cekaj lifts and I breeze past him. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened to the BMW driver there. Maybe he forgot to change his fuel. He may have been racing with qualifying setup. So that's put me up into P17. However, I'm nearly 3 seconds behind P16. So we're going to jump forward to much later in the race. Just 10 minutes left on the clock. And as you can see, I've finally managed to close that 3-second gap. I've been steadily chipping away at Chris Strike in that Porsche, and I've been helped in no small part by the fact that I've had a clear track in front of me. However, now I'm within half a second of Strike. I'm once again faced with the problem of spray and limited visibility. So closing in on that Porsche was one thing. Can I get past it? Well, we're jumping forward to the start of lap 10 because I've just posted my own fastest lap of the race, a 1:39.3. Now that's a good 1 second slower than what I managed in qualifying, but remember I am running with a fair amount of damage from that shunt earlier in the race, but I am closing in on Strike, and he's left a gap on the inside, so this may be an opportunity through turn 2. I've tucked it up the inside. We're now side by side exiting the corner. I'm going to have the high ground for this next right-hander, and in fact, Strike backs down. That puts me up into P16. Yeah, you've got to take these opportunities when they present themselves. A big gap on the inside as Strike misses the apex. And as soon as I get alongside him, I'm favourite to take the position. In fact, Strike ran it out a little bit too wide there. He cleared the grass, so he didn't back out. He made a mistake. Now, you might have noticed on screen that I picked up a track cart warning while I was pushing to close in on Strike, and I wasn't the only one. Towards the end of the race, we started to see drive-through penalties getting handed out for continued track cut offences. One of them is Simon Wolf. He is in pit lane now as I come past to start lap 12, so that puts me up into the top 15. Which brings us on to the final couple of laps of the race, and you'll see that I've picked up another position. Yep, due to another drive-through penalty, I'm now up into 14th position, and I'm within half a second of 30. It hasn't taken me long at all to close in on that McLaren in front of Leandro Lima, so I think I'm going to get 2 more laps at this. I may yet be able to get 13th position. And I'm going to try the same move that served me well earlier in the race. I've got a good run through that final chicane. I've certainly got the better exit, so can I pull alongside the McLaren driver and force my way up the inside into turn 1? Well, I'm certainly alongside him, however Lima isn't going to back out. So I'm going to have to be really careful here. I don't want to slide and drift to the outside line because that'll push Lima off track, so I hold it tight. Lima, though, holds firm. He holds on to the position. And I tell you what, we may have some company behind before too long. Look in the rearview mirror, that is Alexander Zilka. So Zilka taking full advantage of this battle between me and Lima, but I can't worry about what's going on behind now. I've got to concentrate on this white McLaren in front. I've certainly got more pace than Lima, but can I force a way past? Once again, I've got the run on him here. And another gap opens on the inside. Oh, this is going to have to be spot on. If I get this wrong, it could be a disaster. I did get it wrong. Thankfully, there's no contact, but I can't keep that position. I'm going to have to give Lima the place back. And it's only a second track cut warning as well. So yeah, a bit of an over-ambitious move, that one. I mean, it's a tough enough part of the track to pass cleanly in the dry, never mind these monsoon conditions today. And yeah, as soon as I knew I'd got that wrong, I gave the position straight back, which means it's as you were, and the clock has just struck 0 as well. We will get 1 more lap in, so can I do anything about Lima in front? Can I snatch P13 on the last lap, or will I have to settle for P14? Let's not rule out that McLaren behind either. Zilka now is closer than he's ever been, just 0.3 of a second behind coming through this final chicane, so I think I may have to defend coming down the start-finish straight here as we begin the last lap of this race. So yeah, I'm going to stick to the inside line, but it's not to try and pass on Lima, it is purely to try and hold off Zilka behind. And I've just about managed to maintain a car length advantage, just straight away I switch to the right-hand side. That'll give me another defensive line into turn 2. Working really hard now to hold off Zilka, but he's lost it exiting the turn. The rear stepped out, and now that is Zilka out of contention, so I can focus all my attentions on closing in on the white McLaren in front. Is there time for me to make a move on Lima? It doesn't look like it at the moment. I'm 0.5 of a second back. That battle with Zilka was costly. It cost me a few tenths. Right, into this chicane for the final time. Lima takes quite a lot of the curb, but that McLaren seems to cope with it okay. He's maintaining that half a second advantage. We're halfway through this final lap now. Can I do anything about it? It's looking increasingly like I might have to settle for P14. I'm running just a little bit too hot into the second chicane. Oh no, another track cut warning. That is my last warning. If I cut another corner, it'll be a penalty. So that is the last thing I want to do. Just a few corners from home. So I'm going to have to be squeaky clean here while still trying to apply pressure on Leandro Lima. And it looks like Lima's run a little bit hot into the hairpin there. He missed the apex. That'll give me the advantage on exit. I'm going to close in quickly. Oh, I didn't realise quite how quickly then. I got a little bit closer than I was anticipating, and I had to lift through that tricky kink coming out of the turn. And I think that was my final chance. I'm relying on a mistake from Lima now, and I'm not going to get it. We're out to the final chicane. And Leandro Lima is going to hold on to P13. I'm going to settle for P14. And that was one of the most challenging races I think I've ever had. I've never driven in such terrible wet weather conditions. Yes, it was incredibly frustrating in the early going when I got smashed out by Chap Mongol Theta while challenging for the top 10, but it didn't ruin the race. I came back and had some cracking battles, and I've managed to get myself back into the top 15. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this wet weather special, but you can put your umbrellas away now. I think it will be a long, long time before I enter another one of these races. Thank you ever so much for watching.